In the previous lesson, we had created a new view, welcome.jsp, and we had passed two strings as variables or attributes to this view. Let us now see how do we create a slightly more comprehensive model. So what we will do is we will create a bean. So we will go and create a new package and say call it com.edufect again as we learned, and let us call it beans. And in this package we will create a new file, a new Java class, and let's say call it student. So what we are creating here is we are creating a data model and saying how does our student look like, and what does it mean? It will define all the attributes of our student. So let us say the attributes of our student are a string name, int age, and a string course. So let us see, these are the attributes of our student. So notice we have made all of them private here. So the way we would use it is we would make them private, and by making them private it means that nobody can directly access these fields or these attributes. So how do we access them? We will create what we call as getters and setters. So right click, insert code, and here we get an option getter and setter. Let us click on it and we will create getters and setters for all the three. So we will select all of them and generate. So now let's see what happened when we said generate. So what happened when we said generate was it created getters and setters for all the fields in the class student. So we got a get name and we got a set name. So get name will return the name and set name will take a parameter and set it to the name. So which is why these are called getters and setters. So getter is used to get the value and setter is used to set the value. Similarly for age and similarly for course. And notice these methods are public, which means we can access them from outside. So now that we have created a bean here, let us just go back to our controller and see what do we do in our controller in this case. So we are back to our controller, and what we would do in this case now is that we would say in the same controller we would now add a @model attribute. And what would we say to the model attribute? We will say student, which is the name of our class, and say let us give it a object name or a variable name st1. We just need to import student so that this error went in. So I've just control space, typically that's the way we do the import. So we have imported st1. So now that we have gotten our st1, we need to set the values here. So the important thing is we are not doing a new. So on our data model, we do not do a new. We have gotten it as a model attribute and we will set the value. So st1, and we will not say name because it's private. We will use the set. So we will say set name. And what was the student's name? Here it was Bill Smith. So we have set the student name. Let us set the student age st1 dot set age, say 25, and let us say set st1 dot set course, and let us call it spring hibernate. So now that we have created st1, what do we need to do? We need to add st1 or this object to our model and view. So we will say m2 dot add object, and we will get it a name that we will utilize internally. So let us call it student object, and we will get it the value st1. So with this we have completed our controller, which will now create an object, which will now pass an object of student, and now when the JSP is called welcome.jsp, we will now get the object called st object or student object. So let us now modify this, and let us say welcome to Edufect. Your dear student, please check your details below. So let us say the objective is that we just ask the student to check their details. And what are the details? So let us say the details we show is name, and now we want to show the name. So how do we do it? We will use the st object, which is what we got as a parameter, and we now want to reference the name. So we'll say st object dot name. Similarly, what we want to show is the age. So exactly the same way we will do it, and we'll say using expression language st object dot age, and then we will say h3, and we'll display the course. Course is $this and st object dot course. And now we have displayed all the values that have been provided, and let us now run our project. So what it should show here in this case is, in the controller we added the values Bill Smith, 25 and Spring Hibernate. So those are the values we wanted to show, and which is saying, dear student, check your details below, name Bill Smith, age 25, course Spring Hibernate. And it is just showing a smaller one, so we made an error here. We should have made it h2, and let us run the project again to test it, that now the formatting, and now we have gotten it in the same size. So name Bill Smith, age 25, and course Spring Hibernate. So here we created a data model, we created a bean named student, and we passed it to our view, which was welcome.jsp, which used it to display. So this is how we will do it.